In a high-stakes corporate negotiation, the first person to speak a number usually loses. When a brand manager gets on a Zoom call and asks you what your rate is, they are laying a psychological trap. If you name your price first, you have just put a ceiling on your own earning potential. Today, I'm going to teach you how to dismantle that trap. I'm going to show you exactly how to negotiate with corporate brands without ever sacrificing your worth. I'm Roger Wakefield, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Sponsorships. Now, I grew to be one of the biggest trades creators in the United States, and I'm still a master plumber. But over the last few years, I've negotiated huge deals and secured massive upfront contracts, like a recent $60,000 deal for 2 videos. Now, I didn't get those deals by rolling over when a brand lowballed me. I got them by mastering the psychology of the pitch. Now, in the next few minutes, we're going to dive deep into advanced neurolinguistic programming and psychological anchoring techniques. And I'm going to give you the exact copy and paste scripts to use when a brand lowballs you, when they ask for free affiliate work, or when they demand exclusivity. Now, I have no problem doing any of those if the price is right. But let's talk about the negotiation dynamic. When you get an email from a brand that you really love, your heart starts racing. I've been there. You get freaking excited. And the corporate negotiator on the other side of the screen, he already knows it. They are trained to use your excitement and your anxiety against you. They want to trigger your imposter syndrome so you accept the absolute minimum. Their favorite tactic is the budget deflection. They'll say, "We love your channel. What are your rates?" If you say $20,000, they will immediately say, "Oh, our budget was only $2,000." And now you're negotiating down. You must flip the script. You must use psychological anchoring. When they ask for your rate, you do not give them a single number. You say, "For a campaign of this size, my recent partners have invested anywhere from $60,000 to $85,000, depending on the exact usage rights and exclusivity terms. What specific budget have you allocated for the quarter's influencer marketing?" My favorite thing, what budget range do you have? Now, you didn't lock yourself into a price. You anchored the conversation at a massive premium. And now you're forcing them to reveal their hand. If their budget was $5,000, if it was $2,000, they now feel like they have to fight to afford you, rather than feeling like they can push you down, push you over, drive your price down. You are no longer the puppet. You are the puppet master. And that's where you want to be. Now, what happens when they lowball you anyway? What happens when they offer you $500 for a dedicated video? Me? I laugh. Guys, I'm sorry. I hadn't even done $500 videos in a long time. I don't think I ever did $500 videos. To be honest, God, my first videos, they were probably $20,000, $30,000 each. Most creators get offended and walk away. A media operator uses the pivot script. You reply, "I appreciate the offer. While $500 does not cover the production, overhead, and distribution for a dedicated 8 to 12-minute video on my main feed, I want to make this work for your current budget. For $500, I can do a 30-second YouTube short." To be honest, though, I wouldn't even do that. But if it's somebody you really want to work with, this may be your foot in the door. Or I can give you a shout out in a video or an email, maybe a newsletter to my 15,000 people email list. Which of those two options works best for your team? You did not say no. You removed their access to your premium inventory, a full-length video. You forced them to choose between 2 lesser options. You maintained your absolute price integrity. Isn't that a beautiful thing? What about the affiliate trap? We don't have an upfront budget, but we can give you a 20% commission on all sales. Now, this is the oldest trick in the corporate playbook. They are asking you to take on 100% of the financial risk. Use a hybrid script. I love performance-based partnerships. However, to cover the hard cost of my studio production and editorial team, my baseline integration fee is $5,000. If we lock in that base fee, I would be thrilled to go ahead and do it for the 20% back-end commission to align our incentives. Now, you don't work for free. You've at least got your production covered. Now, one thing that I always tell them is, look, the reason I don't like this, I could drive 1 million people to your website, but if your website does not convert, if you do not track my purchases correctly, I lose money. You've got to understand that you are a business. And finally, exclusivity. If a tool company wants you to promote their wrench and they put a clause in the contract saying that you cannot work with any other tool company for a year, they're just buying your silence. You must charge a premium for that. You say, well, my standard rate, like I said, $5,000 for production. However, a 12-month exclusivity, I only do that on like 12 video contracts now. But that exclusivity clause, it locks you out of your primary revenue category. Don't do that. And I did a deal one time with a company that was a distribution company. And they had things in their contract where really I couldn't work with any other store that sold anything plumbing, anything tools. That was hard to do, but it was a good contract, so it made it worth it. If I were doing a 6-month deal and they wanted exclusivity, I'd say, yeah, we can do exclusivity for $25,000, $30,000. Put something in there that's going to make it worth it enough where you can say, okay, if I do this video for this tool and I can't talk about tools for 6 more months, here's what I'm going to do. Now, guys, look, memorizing these scripts is one thing, but executing them consistently without second guessing yourself is something else entirely. Because here's the truth. When you're in the moment, I mean, literally, when you are deep in the moment, emotions take over. You start questioning your value. You start asking yourself, wow, you know what? Am I really worth this? You start wondering if you're asking for too much. And that's when you lose leverage. Now, this is where tools like SponsorKit.pro actually help. Not by negotiating for you, we're not doing that, but by giving you clarity before you ever enter the conversation. Inside the platform, you can break down your numbers. You can get a realistic valuation of what your content is actually worth. The price value calculator is amazing. I think it's the best thing that I came up with. Not based on what someone else has charged, based on your audience, based on your performance, based on your numbers. Now, when you walk into a negotiation, you're not just hoping your price makes sense. You already know that it does. And when it comes to outreach, most creators fail before the negotiation even starts. They send weak emails, vague pitches, messages that sound like everyone else. Hey, I love your product. I have a lot of followers. Send me a lot of money. SponsorKit.pro helps you write those messages properly. Clear, direct, positioned like a business, not a creator asking for a favor. It helps you structure outreach that actually gets responses. And more importantly, responses that lead to real conversations with the right decision makers. Because if you don't get that meeting, none of these scripts, none of them matter at all. And if you're not pitching enough of them, you're never going to get the calls. At the end of the day, this is about control. Control over your numbers, control over your messaging, control over how you show up in the negotiation. It's control over your follow-up, control over your follow-through. You still have to execute. You still have to hold the line. But when you walk in prepared, with real data and a clear message. You stop negotiating from emotion and you start negotiating from logic, from position. If you're serious about getting paid what you're worth, stop guessing. Use the tools, know your value, and walk into every deal like you belong there, like it's your freaking deal. It is your room. But to access the best tools in SponsorKit.pro, you can't be at the entry-level tiers. The rookie and the creator plans, they're fine for basic pitches. They're fine if you're just starting out. They're fine if you're not making money yet. This can be your introduction to a new bank account. But if you're going toe-to-toe with corporate legal teams and senior marketing directors, you need heavy armor. You must upgrade to the SponsorKit Pro or Pro Plus tiers. Stop letting corporate negotiators steal your confidence and your revenue. That's your mojo. You keep it. Don't let anybody take it from you. Click the link below and then upgrade to SponsorKit Pro or Pro Plus right now. Lock in your scripts. Make them pay what you are actually worth. SponsorKit.pro. It's your turn to be on top.